This week we're going to be talking about November 7th through November 13th. This is going to be the full moon in Taurus. Scorpio is all about exchanging energy and magic. So I go deep into disclosing what it's like to feel lifted through the exchange of money and dancing at the club. And through these examples, you're going to hopefully have the clarity you need to transform your deepest bonds in a way that leaves you and those that you're bonded to feeling lifted. The full moon in Taurus will be intense, but the tension is there to help you recognize any bonds or areas where you're being undervalued.
Yeah.
So we want to use this opportunity to release these unhealthy connections. The full moon's all about release, so that is the takeaway of the week. So as we release these unhealthy connections, we're going to be merging deeper into appreciating those surrounding us.
Appreciating those that are truly lifting you, that are honoring you.
And merge deeper with those who actually appreciate you.
Yeah. It's about releasing those
who suck.
Are undervalued.
Who fucking suck.
Those who suck. Those that don't appreciate you. Bye-bye. Those that do, deeper you.
And then you leave room for people that do appreciate you.
Yes.
So yeah, that's what's in store for this week. Stay tuned.
The weekly transit.
Astrology is a language that communicates how the planets and stars influence life on Earth. I'm Scott Tajarian. I'm an interpreter of this language. Join me and my co-host Ingrid Iverson, who helps bring an even more practical look at this astral language. The weekly transit is here to bring clarity to the chaos so you can ride the planetary waves instead of the planets riding you.
The weekly transit.
Good morning.
Yes. It's an inside joke, guys. It's an inside joke.
So, Ingrid, before we get started here, last week you were talking about some of the, how do I put it? I would say it is like you're going above and beyond at the club.
Yeah. I was just talking about kind of really coming into possibly my Chiron in Gemini.
Mm-hmm.
Figuring out how to incorporate these two sides of myself and feel good about it. Not that I ever felt bad, but there's definitely a stigma about sex work. So I kind of, in a roundabout way, did kind of keep it a secret because I wasn't sharing it with my family, and I definitely wasn't sharing it with people in production. That's what I did for most of my money. So recently I've just been, I posted it on my personal Instagram because I have like a secret Instagram, but like for just dancer stuff. But then I was like, I posted it on my personal Instagram that's part of like who I am.
Right.
So really just starting to put myself out there as like a whole person. But I guess like a big thing that had happened was I had pulled my hamstring and I was out for a couple weeks and I was like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
What am I going to do? Like, production is very inconsistent. It's awesome, but it's not something that happens every week. Sometimes it's for a month and then it's not again for 2 months. So like, who knows? And so there was just like a lot of fear of like, what am I going to do if this doesn't work out? And then like, I just felt very, very burnt out in general, just of talking to people. And I definitely went from being like the person at the club who maybe talks to everyone a little too long, still trying to like keep it personable and keep it really like connected and feel good about it, to the person who's just like, do you want to dance? No. Okay. I don't want to fucking talk to you because if you do not pay me, I will stab you right now. I got to get out of here. I don't want to waste any of my time. So when I went back after being gone for a couple weeks, that's the longest I haven't been at the club for 3 years. I felt like really like hungry and like excited. And my first day back, I fucking killed it. I've had like some record breaking days, like numerous times in the last couple of weeks.
Wow.
Which I'm like, I'm still wondering, I'm like, is this a fluke or did I unlock a new level?
Yeah.
And I think I unlocked a new level.
And what's that level?
Being able to really treat it more like a job. Even at the restaurant, you can get really jaded, but I felt like I was really good at almost never having a bad day at work. Almost ever. You do the same things every time. You ask every person if they want dessert. You get excited about the menu. You make sure everyone is having a good time. That's your role. And when they're having fun, you're having fun because you're making money and your customers are happy. You tell them what they're going to eat. You tell them what they're going to order, what drinks they're going to have, how the flow of everything is going to go. You can kind of tell based on their body language.
Yeah.
Are they having a date and they want you to just disappear and just bring stuff, or do they want more of an experience with you? And that was always very easy. And so it was kind of an easy transition to being a dancer in that way. But definitely now I'm feeling like, oh, I'm here to make sure everybody's having fun and they want to buy something. Even if they don't want to buy something, they want to have a good night. That's why they came out.
Yeah.
So telling them what they're going to do, they're going to have fun.
Okay.
Do you want to have fun? Like, no, I don't want to dance right now. So does that mean you don't want to have any fun? Because it seems like you came here to have some fun.
Yeah.
So like, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
I'm here to entertain you.
Yeah.
You're bored. Well, lucky me. Lucky me that I'm here, because this is like lucky for you. I came up to you because this is what I'm great at.
Yes.
And
what's the reaction you're getting?
I think I'm bringing a lot more humor and lightness. So even the people that do say no eventually say yes.
Yeah. They feel like they might be missing out on something.
Yeah. And then just making them laugh about it, where they're just like, eventually they'll be like, okay, fine. But like some of the girls are really pushy and they feel like obligated almost. And you're just like, it's kind of awkward. They're like, I guess I have to buy something.
Yeah.
But like, number one, getting more customers to the back and then making them fucking stay.
How do you do that?
You know, usually they're like, okay, like, do you want another dance? And, you know, a lot of the times they're like, no, thank you. Okay. Yeah. And you leave it at that. I'm like, and you know, before I didn't want to play like very demure or like, I don't want to beg for my money. Like, okay, fine. Yeah. And now I'm like, are you sure? And then if they say no, I'll be like, I'll just say like, please, just one more. And half the time it works, you know. I'm just like, half the time they're like, okay, fine. And then like every single time I'll be like, come on, just one more. It's gonna be fun. This is like, we're closing after this. Like, we're just gonna go home. We'll just stay. I'm like, they're like, oh, maybe later. I'm like, well, then you go out there and you like unwind and then you have to come back and start all over. Like, we're like in the middle of having like this intimate moment. Yeah. Like when we get in, then we have to start from scratch, and then you have to do like another 3 dances to get where you are. So like, you might as well just stay and we'll just have more fun. Yeah. And then even in the VIP rooms, selling a VIP room and then having them buy another and another back to back. I'm like, I'm not ready to go back. Just making a whole story of how much I want to hang out with them. Yeah. Because it's easier for me.
Does a VIP room cost more money or something?
Yeah. A single dance is 1 song, so it's 3 minutes. A VIP room starts at 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. So
yeah. It's like $200 versus $40.
3 songs, 5 songs, 5 songs. Okay.
So like, to get a customer back there is a certain amount of energy. But if you can just keep that same customer back there, you're saving time and you're making more money. Yeah. So I'm like, I literally had 2 customers on the night that I made so much money because I just kept selling them to stay to hang out with me. So I don't know. I just got this excitement and passion for like sales almost, where I'm like, oh, this is really who I am, and I'm going to make sure that you know that, because not everyone here is like that. Yeah, maybe they'll like twerk on your head or something weird, but it's all just a show. Like, what makes me different? I'm gonna like, you pay for a massage because you want your partner to give you a massage, but they don't want to do it. They're tired and they're not gonna give you a good one. Like, that's what I'm here for. Oh, I'm gonna give you an amazing dance, and you're gonna leave so happy. Yeah. And your whole evening and your whole week is gonna be made because you had a great time. Yeah. So knowing your value, like really selling somebody on it, and knowing like your
value. Yes.
Yeah. And I'm like, I am worth it. And I'm worth more than like most of the girls. No, I'm not saying all the girls, like a lot of them are also really good at what they do, but setting yourself apart and making that part of my like thing and my character.
It sounds like you're embracing the fantasy.
100%. Whereas before I'm like, I don't have the energy for this. I'm just going to be myself. I'm like, bitch, people like, they'll still pay me, but they're going to pay me more to, and I made like a phone number, which before I would give out my phone number, I would never respond. I just hate doing it. So I made like this fake number so then it's in its own little app. So I can like text people, and then whenever I want to, I can go check the app. And if somebody wrote me, I can write them back. Because then that's your way to like get customers back to the club, which I just have always really been resistant to. So now I
Yeah.
kind of made like a workaround where I'm like, okay, I have a number that I don't have to worry about being like, okay, well, maybe if they spend a lot of money, I'll give them my number. But it just seems like an ordeal to get a second number. But yeah, they have apps for that.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
So yeah, feeling like I'm integrating part of the Aries North Node energy and then part of that healing that Gemini in Chiron.
Chiron and Gemini,
Yes.
which is also in your first house, which is Aries energy. So having the confidence to really embrace your Virgo nature of being demure. Like, please.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh my
like
God.
guys that go crazy for that. Like, okay. You know, it's like it.
They want to be wanted.
Yes. It's like you're begging.
You need
They
them.
They want you to beg. I mean, that's.
And I'm like, okay, fine. If you're going to give me money for it, sure. Like there was part of me that was like, I'm not going to beg. But now I'm like, oh, well, you're going to pay for it. So
It's
what?
a part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
That's a part of the show.
So it's just been really, I'm feeling a lot of like lightness and fun about it. It feels more rewarding and like definitely stepping more into the character, into the fantasy of the whole thing.
Yeah. You're really committing. That's awesome.
And I always wondered, I'm like, I really feel like I'm just wondered how some girls make so much money. There's these older women that make so much money. It's crazy.
They're committed.
And I'm like, yeah, they really are.
yeah.
And it makes a difference. Because before I was just like, I have all these other projects that I would like to succeed in. And ideally, maybe I would work one day at the club. But now I'm like, if I'm doing this well, why would I not do it more? And also, even in my dancing itself, like my movements, I'm trying to move even slower. Like I've always been working to move slower, but it's really hard. Like that's a skill where you can tell when someone's been dancing a while because they move super slow and it's really like sexy. But also that bitch is conserving her energy is what she's also doing.
Yes. She's not rushing through it.
Yeah.
Because, she's conserving her energy. If you're rushing, it's like you're putting out too much.
It's so physically demanding to be able to be like, okay, how do I not want to die at the end of the night? Well, number one, by keeping customers in the back and just having them talk to me. So I sold a 15, a 15, a 30, and then another 15. And most of the time I wasn't even dancing.
Yeah.
So I just feel like I've been having more customers. Another customer just wanted to ask me out. So he took me to the back and then just bought 3 songs and he didn't want me to do anything but sit there and talk to him.
Yeah.
And that happened again. And I'm like, something is shifting because that's kind of more few and far between that someone will just pay you to hang out with them, which happens, but it's not happening multiple times in an evening.
Are they paying you to talk to them or are they paying you to listen to them?
It depends on the person.
Okay.
Both.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it really depends on the person. One of the guys just wants to tell me stories about some like girl he used to have sex with. And he is not even being super dirty or weird. Usually I'm like, I don't want to hear I just don't want to hear it. I do not get paid enough for that. I'd rather just dance and not hear anything because you're disgusting. You're going to really have to tip me extra if you want me to listen. But yeah, sometimes people just want to share or they're very curious about your life or like, you know, your hobbies or your interests. And they're just like, I'm like, okay, you can pay me to just talk about whatever, about cooking food.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I'll do that all day.
And when at the end of these shifts, how did you feel?
Much better. I've been feeling not so drained.
Yeah.
I swear I came home Sunday night and I was like, holy shit, I worked 3 days in a row and I don't feel like I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Usually I'm just like at the end of the night.
Is it because you spent more time in the VIP or was it also because you made more money?
Both.
Yeah.
Both of those happened.
Yeah.
And then also I went in for a shorter shift Sunday. I'm just going to go for the shifts, even if it's not the longest shift, because they'll let me be a little more flexible with that. I'm like, I went in only for 4 hours and I made as much as I would have in 6 hours. So I'm like, okay, I need to just go even when I'm not feeling because I was like, I'm so tired.
Yeah.
And then I got there and I was like, oh my God, it was totally worth it. I didn't overextend myself. I only worked for a few hours and I felt good when I left. I'm like, just being more consistent and maybe working a little less hours or somehow expending less energy while I'm there, maybe physically if I can. Usually I do all of these like pull tricks and I was like, you know what? Nobody fucking cares. That's for myself. I pulled my fucking hamstring last time. I need to just chill. And like, when I'm feeling super strong, yeah, it's fun. Or when the club is full, yeah, maybe I'll do like more. Or if there's one certain person where I'm like, oh, I know that they are like, oh, I want to see some pole tricks. Okay, cool. But not just, conserving my energy. Anyways, this turned into a long rant about the club.
Well, I just think it's interesting too because of Scorpio season and exchanging energy.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're going to the club, you are either feeling lifted afterwards or drained.
Mm-hmm.
And your second house moon, it needs to be fed money.
It does.
And so
it fucking does.
If you're making money, then all of a sudden it's like, wow, I feel so great after work.
It's true. I feel like I'm like, yeah, I tell the other girls, I'm like, yeah, I was really tired, but then I got high off of a bunch of money.
Exactly.
Well, then also that feels, you feel valued.
Well, that's what the second house is all about.
And also giving appreciation for the guys that are really spending money, like really thanking them and saying like that it was meaningful that they spent their money on me.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just being like, thank you. I would say thank you, but like there's a difference.
They're glad they spent the money on you.
Yeah, when you're appreciative, they're like, oh, I want to give the girl the money that was like, oh my God, thank you so much for spending time and money on me. That really made my day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think, and it's genuine.
Yes.
I don't know why in the past it hasn't felt as genuine. I'm like, okay, next, I want to make some money. But now I'm like, just feeling more personal attention. And I think it's really paying off.
Yes.
Like they value me and I value them for the exchange.
And that is the Scorpio energy right there. When you value them, you're like, thank you so much for spending money on me and spending your time with me. And they're like, thank you. Like, I'm so glad that I spent time on money with you. Like, anytime.
And that simple exchange, I feel like has created people to want to come back or to like get another dance. Cause they're just like, oh, this feels like I feel the customer feels valued instead of just being like, oh, they used me for my money. I'm like, yeah, we did use you for your money because that's what every exchange is when you're paying for a service.
But it doesn't have to feel that way.
Yeah, it can feel,
It doesn't have to feel that way. It can feel like, no, this is a good exchange. I'm not using you for your money. I'm sharing my energy with you and you're sharing your energy with me. It shouldn't feel like she's using me. Yeah. She's using me for my money. Well, you came into a strip club.
What would you like? Where, people always want something for free. I'm like, dude. And I tell people like that it just seems so ridiculous. You came here because you wanted to pay someone. And I think I brought up the example. It's like, people will always say like, oh, like I want it to feel authentic. I'm like, do you feel like it's authentic when you get an amazing massage from an actual masseuse? Mm-hmm. You don't leave feeling bad. You leave feeling amazing. Exactly. It's the same thing. Your partner cannot give you that. You either don't have one or your partner can't give you what I can give you. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to do an amazing job and you're going to leave feeling amazing and it's going to be worth it. You're going to be happy you spent that money.
Yes.
And they're like, oh yeah, you're right. It is like, it's a job, but that doesn't mean it has to feel like you've been taken from. Mm-hmm. There is an exchange.
Yes. That's what Scorpio season's all about. It's about finding that equitable exchange where you feel like I'm lifted and they feel like they're lifted. So should we get into the week?
Yes. Before we get into the week, I wanted to mention the show notes. The show notes have the book, The Basics of Astrology, you can buy. If you don't have The Basics of Astrology, it's meant to go with the pictures you see here on YouTube or on Spotify. We have a video. You can see our beautiful faces and the images we talk about on here. Or you can go to the website that's meant to be paired with the podcast and the book, theweeklytransit.com. And there's a blog called Forecast. It goes over all the questions Scott asks me on here. You can use them as journal prompts and check in for the week. And if you want to support the podcast, also in the show notes, support link, you can donate $1, $5, or $10. And we really appreciate you allowing us to spend more time doing what we love, sharing the planets and stars with you.
Yes. And I wanted to mention that it was last weekend. It was last Friday, but it's still pertaining to this week because I had a really great conversation with Delisa Hawking, the amazing psychic, about this Tuesday, November 8th, which is the full moon in Taurus. So the link to that conversation is in the show notes as well. Also want to remind anyone that wants to learn about their astrological code or work with me one-on-one on a weekly basis, go to theweeklytransit.com and schedule a reading. Now, I do want to thank our amazing sponsors, Larry, Deborah, Haley, Libby, Janelle, Clarissa, Janine, Ricky, Amaranth, Vincent, Michelle, Catherine, Merdinas, Brenna, Stephanie, Cassie, Grace, Lori, Carrie, Annie, Brooke, Johnny, Joanne, and Amber.
Thank you so much. The list is like growing. This is actually hilarious. There's so many people. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for spending your money on us and making us feel valued.
Exactly. We feel lifted. That's what Scorpio is all about. It doesn't have to be like this, oh my God, Scorpio, people freak out.
It's like a really weird bad rap. People always say the weirdest things to me about astrology all the time. They're like, oh, is this a bad sign? I'm like, there's literally no such thing. Also, there's free will and like so many other things happening. You don't just get dealt a bad hand. We all have a bad hand. Like we have our own lessons and shit to learn.
Yes, everybody has gifts and challenges. The challenges are there to inspire you to open your gifts, and the gifts are there to help you work on your challenges. So nobody gets a bad chart. Everybody is a miracle and very special, and it's all how you're working with the energy.
I mean, just in this unlocking, I feel like the unlocking during Scorpio season especially, it's like, oh, I'm working with the Scorpio energy. Like, this is a good thing. This is a good thing for me to be learning.
Scorpio rules money. Scorpio and Taurus. We're going to get into that on Tuesday much deeper, but first with Monday, November 7th, and this is the week of November 7th to the 13th. Monday, November 7th, we're looking at the sun, the giver of light, life, and vitality, and Mercury, the messenger of the gods, guide of souls to the underworld, the planet of consciousness, communication, and coordination in Scorpio. The fixed water sign symbolized by the scorpion, conjunct. So the planet of the conscious mind being illuminated by the planet of light, the sun. So this is a period where hopefully we're able to think more clearly, see things more precisely. And then there's also Venus, Lady Luck, the goddess of love and beauty, the planet of relationships, also in Scorpio, forming a square, which is a stressful aspect, with Saturn, the god of wealth and time, the planet of restriction, responsibility, hard work, achievement, and authority, in the fixed air sign symbolized by the water bearer and ruled by Saturn, Aquarius.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So when I'm thinking of restriction in the community, and then Scorpio, where it's like you want to be bonding and it's like your identity, I feel like that's kind of where that conflict is. So what do you do with that kind of energy where it feels like maybe a little bit reclusive from your community, but also wanting to bond? How do you reconcile
Maybe it's
that?
like we're feeling reclusive, but needing to do more work to engage in the community.
Or maybe Scorpio really wants those deep bonds. So maybe we're feeling like a responsibility and like a restriction in the community because the bonds we have aren't the ones that are fulfilling us because they aren't the deep ones that we need. Or like something is not right in those bonds, so it's making us feel like
pulling back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's definitely some work that is needing to be done in relationships right now. Community relationships that involve a group, but also your deepest bonds. There is responsibilities in order to have that energetic exchange that feels good, like for you in the club. If I'm going to pay you this money, then I better feel like I'm getting what I'm paying for.
Yeah.
So you have to do work, and that's the exchange. So what is the work that you have to do in your close personal relationships and your deepest bonds in order to feel lifted by your partner and make sure that your partner is feeling lifted by you? What is the energy that you're bringing to the community? And with Mercury and the Sun together as they are today and tomorrow, in very tight alignment with each other together in Scorpio, maybe there's some deep conversations that need to be had. Maybe we're getting into some really dark areas. Maybe there's secrets that are being shared that you're like, oh my God, I didn't realize that was going on with you.
Yeah.
Or I didn't know that you felt that way. So what secrets are you hiding from those that you're most closely bonded to? What secrets are they maybe hiding from you? Are you feeling paranoid that they're hiding some things from you? If you feel paranoid, why not ask?
Yeah.
I feel like you're not telling me something. Is there something that you're hiding from me?
And that's, I mean, it's a square. That's maybe what we should be doing. But that's also very uncomfortable to ask that question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so that's Monday. Moving on to
Whoa.
Tuesday, November 8th.
It looks like one of those little strings when you're little that you make the little patterns
it's tension,
with.
Right? There's tension when you do
Yes.
that with those strings. And that's what it looks like. Because we've got two conjunctions and two conjunctions and four oppositions happening. This is the full moon in Taurus. Taurus is fixed earth, symbolized by the bull. Taurus and Scorpio are the two signs that rule money. Taurus is my money. Scorpio is our money. Taurus is what I value within myself. Scorpio is the value that's exchanged in a bond between two people that are exchanging energy. So the moon, the planet of emotions, is conjunct with Uranus, the primordial sky god, the planet of revolution, rebellion, innovation, independence, and the unexpected. And both the moon and Uranus are opposing the sun and Mercury in Scorpio.
I'm feeling like there's Uranus, which is like the revolution or something unexpected in the emotions. And maybe that feels like possibly your partner pulling away in some sense, or this unexpected like breakup of finances where you're like, oh, I thought everything was us, like everything is together. But really they want a little bit more freedom and maybe like your values don't align with that money. So they're like, okay, well, this is going to be your money and this is going to be my money. I'm going to spend my money on more food stuff, on more facial products, on more like spa stuff. And you can spend your money on going to more concerts and, you know, buying music and all that stuff that you like to do. But when I don't feel like it's even, then it makes me feel bad. So maybe there's just like an unexpected, you didn't know that they felt this way and they want a little bit of separation when it comes to the finances.
Yes.
So it sounds weirdly specific. I don't know where.
I'm just thinking like what is it that you want to release, or what is it that you need to release from your karmic bonds? Are you holding on too tightly in some area?
So maybe not necessarily financially, but just in any sense of the bonds.
I mean, definitely can be financially, but it's all about self-worth and what you value. And you're saying, well, in order for me to feel complete, I need X, Y, Z. But do you really? Maybe you do. And that if you do, that's okay. But are you holding your partner too tightly in some way?
Yeah.
There's something about that here. Feels like there's some conversations that need to be had.
Those secrets that you were mentioning.
Exactly. There is a conflict of values here. There's a conflict of values, and that's what. It's so interesting that today's the midterm election, which we won't get into, but it's a conflict of values. There's this side that wants this, and that side that wants that, and they don't meet with each other. So, in your own personal life, what are the questions that you need to be asking those that you're bonded with? Are there secrets that you're hiding? Are there secrets that they're hiding? Are you holding on to them? Are you being too controlling with them? Are they being too controlling with you? How would you like to create greater independence in your karmic bonds? What can you let go of here?
I mean, I guess, yeah, that's the full moon is the release. So releasing what's not serving us. Maybe we want to hold on to it tightly, but that doesn't really make any sense.
And maybe it's a relationship totally. You know, it's like when you go back to the new moon in Scorpio, which was on October 25th, that was about setting your intentions to establish what you value, your self-worth, and how to exchange your magic, your energy with another person, setting your intentions to share your magic with those who honor, reflect, or respect what you value. Now here we are 2 weeks later, and if there is somebody that you're bonded to in your life that isn't honoring, reflecting, or respecting what you value, then it might be time to release that person.
Yeah.
Or how can we transform this relationship in a way where we both feel valued and respected?
Well, there's Mercury right there, so that's all about communication, communicating about the deep bonds, talking about it. Either, like you said, it needs to be released or like transmuted in some way. That bond needs to die.
Yeah.
It needs to be cut away and be released in some sort of a way, and maybe that just means a shift to the relationship entirely.
Exactly. It could be a death of the old way that the relationship was to this is how things are. I mean, your relationship with your clients is transformed.
Totally. In a good way.
Exactly. So it's like you didn't have to quit your job and say, fuck all this. Like, you transformed something within you, and then it in turn transformed all the people that you were sharing your magic with at the club.
It's crazy because the last shift I worked before this like transmutation occurred was like me screaming. I was there for 3 minutes. My hamstring was feeling horrible, and then the first customer I talked to was just such trash. I just fucking snapped. And I was like, I'm sending myself home. No, I'm gonna get fired if I stay here today because this is just not gonna go well. So it went from that to like a couple weeks later, like this shift created something so different, and these are karmic bonds that I'm forming with these people.
Absolutely. Yes, my God. And so you have to really be careful about, am I feeling depleted here? And so when you're bonding with somebody, it's like, I feel depleted. You had to send yourself home. Like, can you tell your partner, I feel depleted right now. I need energetic help from you. I can't give anything to you right now. Of course I will in the future. Right now I can't. Or maybe it's your partner who feels depleted, and can you ask them, like, you seem really low. What can I do to lift you up? What can I do to give you a boost of energy? That's what this is about. Tuesday, November 8th. Wednesday, November 9th. Now here comes the hard conversations, because Mercury moves on into Scorpio, through Scorpio, and now it's squaring off as Venus was on Monday. Again, this is same note, different instrument. Monday was the senses squaring off with Saturn. Now it's the mind squaring off with Saturn. So what are the difficult conversations that need to be had in order to find the energetic exchange that is leaving both sides feeling lifted and more powerful rather than depleted in the karmic bonds and in the community?
Yeah, this just feels like a more direct communication day with, like you said, people in the community. So yeah, asking the questions.
And taking responsibility for yourself and holding the others accountable.
And that's that restriction from the Saturn energy, like being responsible.
Yes.
And also sometimes I have a tendency, I don't know if anyone else out there has the same tendency, to like kind of look at it one-sided where, take responsibility for myself. And it's like, okay, but also holding others accountable is just as important. And that doesn't have to be in like a negative way. That's in like I value myself, so I need to make sure that everything is working here for me.
Yes.
I'm taking care of myself actually by doing this. So it's not to be a dick. It's to make sure that like I'm surrounding myself with the right kind of people.
Totally.
Otherwise, that's where like the energy vampires come in.
Yes.
Because people will take from you. And I think that that's also like at the club, going back to the club example.
Yeah.
When I'm feeling depleted, it's because I'm not feeling valued. And I'm also not opening that conversation for it to be more honest about like what my time is worth. And when I do value myself and I'm communicating it properly, people understand how to value me in a more appreciative way with their dollars and with their energy, though. It's like it goes more than just the money. It goes into the energetic exchange where I'm like, I can't believe this person paid me for this exchange. It was amazing. Not that I would give it away for free, but like we both left feeling incredible. Like, did I get paid for that? That was awesome. Instead of being like, wow, that was the most draining, exhausting 15 minutes of my life. I wanted to die. Like there is just such a stark contrast in the interactions when you're actually feeling valued.
Totally. I mean, that's how I feel when I'm working with my clients. It's always fun when people are like, wow, this is the best, however much money their reading costs. Like,
absolutely.
This is the best, $279 I've ever spent. And I'm just like, wow, okay, cool. And so feeling lifted after the energetic exchange with whoever comes and meets with me, my weekly clients especially, when they're like, oh my God, you've changed my life and this is so amazing. And I feel lifted afterwards.
Yeah.
I don't feel drained. And I'll meet with like 6 clients in a day.
Yeah, I feel like the more people value you, the more you're fired up. I'm like, how do you keep going? You're just like, I love astrology. I love my clients. Like, it's like building on my happiness.
Yes. That's working with the magic.
It is. Oh my God, it is. When people say like sex magic, I feel like now I'm getting it.
Sex magic is when you have sex with somebody and you both feel that elation afterwards. It's like
or if I fake have sex with somebody,
then at
work, I'm like, I'm simulating that experience.
Exactly. But you're into it. You're enjoying yourself. So that is where the energy feels real.
Yeah, it does. And I feel like it is real.
It is real. And then, absolutely.
I mean, people are like, oh, you're just faking it. I'm like, if you want to have a good time, we can both have a good time. And it can be an authentic experience. Whether you're paying for it or not does not make a difference.
Exactly.
That makes a difference in me being able to feel appreciated for the experience.
Yes. It is what it is, It's not you having sex with somebody. It's simulation, but it's still
authentic.
You're still enjoying yourself. And if you're enjoying yourself and they're enjoying themselves, then it's an authentic exchange. Thursday, November 10th. Venus is now moved on through Scorpio and is forming a harmonious trine with Neptune.
We get a little gift.
Yes, Neptune, the god of fresh water in the sea, the planet of illusion, deception, compassion, and intuition in Pisces, the mutable water sign symbolized by the fish and ruled by Neptune. So this is where doing that work in the early part of the week, really moving through the crunchiness of your relationship, releasing certain aspects of the exchange that are no longer serving you or your partner, and then having those difficult conversations in the aftermath. Now the fantasy comes into fruition here with Lady Luck, the goddess of love and beauty, forming a harmonious trine with Neptune. This is healing. This might be a day where the sex magic really happens. Whether you're actually having sex or there's some sort of energetic exchange happening where you feel like, wow, I feel connected to the soul of this other man or woman, and I can see that they feel connected to me. I feel seen and heard. They feel seen and heard. And because of that, I'm high.
I mean, it's very it's a healing day too. It's like once we're like really embodying this, it becomes magical.
The healing is from the seeing each other. It's seeing each other.
I feel like the same example, going back to the club, whatever that exchange is where we both walk away feeling valued, I feel like that energy has such a healing power to like also build on it. And like you want more of that. Once you realize to put in the work is worth it, then you want to do more of that thing.
Yes.
I want to do more of that thing. I'm like, oh, I feel energized for work. And this person's like, oh, I want to come to the club more because I actually don't just feel drained. Like my pocketbook is getting drained. I'm like, oh, but I'm being fulfilled in an emotional and physical way. So it's like a win-win. I feel good about how I spent my money.
Exactly. You feel seen and valued, and they feel seen and valued.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel too when I'm working with my clients. It's like I feel seen and valued. They feel oh my God, I can't believe you don't even know me, but it feels like you know me. And it's like, I know your chart.
And also that's your Scorpio energy. You're like you're deeply bonding with these people.
Exactly.
You're the stripper of the astrology world. I don't have a clever way to put it, but yes, right?
Exactly. No, I love sort of, I'm trying to think, it's like, this is not the right word, but like infiltrating people's lives in a way,
it's
where
it's
it's
very
like
deep connection.
Yes.
All of their, you're holding all of their secrets.
Yes. Especially for the clients that I see on a weekly basis. It's like, I know everything that's going on in their lives. They're sharing so many intimate details, and I'm like moved by that.
Yeah.
It's very special to me. And of course I hold all these secrets as the good Scorpio does, but being able to be with them on the journey through life and experiencing what they're experiencing and helping guide them through the planets and stars, it's what leaves me feeling lifted.
Yay, look at us. Fulfilling our life's purpose over here. Feeling fulfilled.
Yes. So, but more challenges ahead on Friday, November 11th with the Sun squaring off with Saturn. So, again, this is the third time this note has been played. It was Monday with Venus squaring Saturn, and then Wednesday with Mercury squaring Saturn, and now Friday with the Sun squaring Saturn. So the same note, three different instruments. Monday was feeling the senses of what's going on in the relationship. What do I need to take responsibility for? Who do I need to hold accountable that I'm in relationship with? Wednesday was having those difficult conversations. Friday is really embodying it. It's we've pinpointed what the issue is here. We've had a discussion about it. Now we actually have to move forward to do something about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just seeing the Saturn there as like someone's going to be holding us accountable, or we're going to have to be holding someone else accountable. And that's usually kind of uncomfortable because you're kind of calling somebody out.
Yes.
Like, hey, we're deeply bonded. We agreed on something and now it's not happening. We already discussed this earlier in the week. Are you holding up your end of the bargain, or they're going to be asking you why you're not holding up yours?
Or you can, and just to soften it a little bit, you can say, I feel like we had this conversation on Wednesday and I'm not sure if I don't feel heard from what was communicated on Wednesday, because on Wednesday
I thought we were on the same page.
I thought we were on the same page, and now I don't feel like we are. How do you feel? How does that, do you feel the same? Am I off here? Am I being paranoid?
It's so the first thing. Well, like, what if that person's just tired that day? And like, normally they're like, oh yeah, we did just talk about it, but just, I have too much on my plate to be considering all of your stuff too. So I didn't mean to like put your shit on the side, but I have to put myself first also. So I don't know how to balance the two. So maybe it can just be an honest conversation. It doesn't have to necessarily be negative when someone's saying like, hey, I thought we talked about it. Are you like not into it? Like, what's going on? It's like, you're right. I did hear you, but or maybe you didn't hear. Maybe you weren't even on the same page. You thought you were on the same page, but you're not. Maybe just having some compassion through this uncomfortable moment.
Well, it's also important to remember that, yes, okay, you have to take care of yourself, but when we're talking about Scorpio energy, like taking care of myself is taking care of you. And so if you're not taken care of, then I'm not taken care of. So if I feel like I'm not being taken care of, maybe what I should be asking is,
what can you do for the other person?
Yes.
Yeah, what are you not getting? Because like you're not giving to me, but obviously you're missing something. Like, how can I fill you up so you can fill me up? How can we like do this together?
That's what it is. And that's the accountability. It's like holding yourself accountable more so than holding the other person accountable. It's like if you feel like you're not getting what you need in the relationship,
it's probably because they aren't either.
Exactly. So how can we work through this?
Yeah, that's a really nice way to do it. And that's also uncomfortable. It's a square. It's like, it's not comfortable to look at yourself and be like, oh, maybe I'm not giving the thing. That's why they don't have enough energy to give anything to me. What am I not doing?
Exactly.
What did I miss?
And if we're going to commit to lifting each other up together, then we're going to be able to lift each other rather than you're not doing what you said you were going to do.
Yeah, that's the easiest thing to do. It's just
that's not going to solve anything.
But that's the first thing that most people.
And that's how we react when we're depleted.
Yeah.
When we're depleted, it's like, I'm not getting what I need, and it's your fault. And it's like, let's just bring it down.
Yeah. Neither am I.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Well, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
What are we gonna do?
You're not getting what you need either. Okay. Well, what can I do to help you? And then they say, well, you can do this. And what do you need from me? Oh, I can do that. Okay. See, together, we're stronger.
Yeah. And also, we have different things that we need. So one person is like, I need alone time when I come home from work. It feels like too much. I don't get to decompress. And the other person's like, I need you to like make me a meal.
No, they got 20 questions for you. So what'd you do here? What'd you do? What, it's like, I don't want to talk to anyone.
And now you're depleted because I asked you all the questions. And now that person's like, oh, well, all I really need is someone to cook me a meal. It's like, oh, well, that person could be cooking you the meal, not asking you the questions. Now somehow, like, maybe there's an exchange that makes so much sense where you both end up getting exactly what you needed to fill each other up.
Yes. Let's be a team here. Let's work together. Saturday, November 12th. So now Mercury is in that same spot where Venus was on Thursday. So again, same note, different instrument. Mercury aligning with Neptune. So we had the hard work on Friday. Now we're more compassionate when we're speaking to each other. Thank you for sharing with me about what you weren't getting.
That's the first thing I thought of. Yes. It was to say thank you.
Yes.
You're feeling appreciated.
How can you communicate more compassionately with those that you're bonded to? How can you communicate your passion to those that you're bonded to?
It makes this day is healing, and it helps with the bond when you can really talk about how good someone made you feel and thanking them. I feel like that's the club thing. It's like thanking the other person for their time and their energy and their money. It's like that's a kind of vulnerable place to put yourself in, to just be like, thank you so much. Like you're putting something out there.
Yes.
And I think that is what makes it feel like more bonded.
You feel appreciated and lifted. It's like when we worked at the restaurant, you don't want just the thank you. You want the great tip, but you also
want a real thank you.
You want a real, yeah. Well, there's the tip, and then somebody who actually says, thank you so much. We really enjoyed the meal here. And then you look at the check, and it's like, oh, it's actually reflected here.
Yeah, there's like 3 kinds of customers. There's a person who leaves no tip and is so excited. They like leave barely anything. They're like, that was the best meal ever. You're like, well, what the fuck was that? Obviously, but you don't care to reimburse me for how great of a time you had.
Yeah.
Or there's a person who was a dick the whole time, and you're like, God, they ran me ragged.
But
and
they
they
left you a great tip.
And then you're like, well, I guess I feel appreciated. They obviously loved my service, but that was weird. That was a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And then the person, like you just said, it's like you leave the nice tip and then you actually thank them.
Yes.
Like you can just walk out and you get good tips. And a lot of the time it's weird. You're like, this person left me all this money. They didn't even say anything. They didn't even need anything. I didn't like what, I guess I was doing a great job, but it wasn't anything out of the norm.
Right.
And they didn't even say shit. They just.
But the best is when you're paid.
Yes.
And you're appreciated through the verbal.
100%.
Yes.
It does. It can just be that one customer all night that gives you the really nice tip and the really nice verbal affirmation of appreciation.
Yes.
And it does. It like opens it like heals your heart.
Yes. Yes.
You feel seen.
Exactly. Sunday, November 13th, Venus is now moved forward in Scorpio and is forming a sextile, positive alignment with Pluto, the god of death, lord of the underworld, the planet of transformation, and the planetary ruler of Scorpio, though it's transiting through the cardinal earth sign of Capricorn. All the work that you've done this week in your karmic bonds, in your relationships, it sort of culminates today on Sunday where you see the transformation. You see how you and the ones that you're bonded to have changed through this week. You feel a deeper connection. You feel more energized, more seen, more appreciated, lifted, elevated. How would you like to transform your relationships? How would you like a deeper relationship? How can you take greater responsibility for your part in the relationship so that the one or the ones that you're bonded to want to hold themselves accountable to meet you where you are?
I mean, going back into the week, it seems like maybe we got a little taste of this where we're like, oh, we shared what we needed or the other person shared and we made a little shift and then we tried it out and then someone was appreciated or I felt like I appreciated the other person and expressed some stuff. And now we're like, okay, if we just keep doing this little pattern right here, things are only going to get better for us.
Yes.
In the relationship, both parties are going to win. So maybe we should plan some more things. What other subjects can we talk about?
Yes.
And work on? Maybe we just worked on this one little thing. Maybe it was, you talk too much when you come in the door, whatever. It's like, okay, well, it wasn't that scary. And now we have this amazing reward. So doing more of that, planning for more of this.
Yes. Yes. I love the word us. Because us to me means that when you win, I win. When I win, you win.
It's true. It's so true, though.
Yes. And so this is about how can you bring that energy into your bonds where you're not competing with your partner. It's not, well, they got this and I did this for them. So they have to do this for... No, it's like, we're in this together. Everything that I do for them is essentially for myself.
I mean, today I wasn't feeling good and I was messaging you like, can you come later in the day? And I said, what do you have going on? And you said, well, my schedule is free, but I'm going to be available for whatever Gabriella might need. And I thought that was like such a beautiful text to be like, Scott is a like true partner. You're like, I need to make sure that we are doing well. Like me and my partner, Gabriella, are doing well. I'm showing up for her. And you're just always, you show up for Maggie, their dog, and just being present as a partner. And I think that us energy.
Yes.
Especially through this move, I'm like hearing about it more. Like you really show up for her, for the us, for the, bringing you both up.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, I feel very supported by her. Like we're always saying that to each other. Like she's saying, I feel so supported by you. Thank you so much. And I'm saying, I feel supported by you. You know, it's like, and we support each other in different ways. Mm-hmm. It's not, she doesn't do exactly for me what I do for her. Just like when somebody pays you for a dance, you're not paying them back.
Yeah,
you know, it's like
guys always joke like I should be giving you a dance. It's like, no, you should just be appreciating me and giving me your money. That's actually the good exchange.
Yes. But that's it. It's about that appreciation. And so I feel so much appreciation for Gabriella because
she's giving you what you can't give yourself. I feel so much
appreciation for her. Like she's say that again?
Oh, she's giving you things that you can't give yourself.
Exactly. I feel appreciation for her because I feel appreciation from her.
Yes, this.
Yeah. So. All right. Very powerful week.
I will see you next week, Scott.
I'll see you next week, Ingrid.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for listening to the Weekly Transit. Follow us on Instagram for daily updates about the planetary alignments and how to work with the energy. If this podcast is helping you navigate life more gracefully, please subscribe, rate us 5 stars, and share with your friends. If you're ready to go deeper, book a personal reading with Scott or sign up for his new moon, full moon class at theweeklytransit.com.
The Weekly Transit.